We might have a chilling time today. Hello everyone, it's SK95. Welcome back to more Pokemon LeafGreen. Last time, we managed to get to 4 Island after getting the first island, getting ourselves to Ruby. And this time, we're going to be checking out this island. So, first things first, this area is a daycare center. I'm Daycare Man, I'll help take care of the precious Pokemon of trainers. If you'd like me to raise your Pokemon, have a word with my wife. Daycare Man here is different from the one on Route 5. Unlike the one on Route 5, you can actually put in 2 Pokemon in this area, and allow them to do something known as breeding. This only works if the Pokemon is in the same egg group, and believe me, the egg group nonsense is a pain in the neck. It's one of the most complicated things in the game. I should mention outright though, if you really want a Pokemon that's basically just breed a Pokemon and just get a new Pokemon entirely, you're better off making sure you have one Pokemon that you want the pre-evolved form of, and then you want to also have a Pokemon known as Ditto. Ditto will automatically allow the Pokemon egg to be whatever the other Pokemon is, regardless of the gender. It's much more useful than you think, especially if, for example, my starter Pokemon cannot breed and not get another Charmander. However, if you breed it with a Ditto, it can give you a Charmander. That's pretty much a straightforward explanation as I can get to this. So, besides that though, that is actually a very good thing, and I want to go to the PC for a second. There's a reason for this. I'm going to later on go into an area that needs a Pokemon entirely, and I need another temporary sort of, well, HM user. I need an HM user to actually utilize this, and sadly, Glimmer can learn the move, but I don't want to have so many same moves on one Pokemon. Frankly speaking, it's exhausting and tedious. Thankfully though, Lapras exists to HM slave for the dang water. I can just teach Lapras Surf if I have to, and Glimmer is actually very high power, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. So we're going to actually get Glimmer off the team for now, and have temporarily put Glimmer into Pox 3s, where I put all my team members on, because it's a bit easier to get to. Lapras is probably the best HM user of Surf, and a new HM later. So, another thing is, Lapras is actually unique when it comes to using Surf. As you remember correctly, when I surf around the water, Lapras doesn't, random Pokemon, there's like a Dark Shadow, you know, the same thing nonsense. It basically just allows you to, well, go over the water, and not much else is changed about that. However, if you have a Lapras and you surf on the water, I can show this off as soon as I get out of the Pokemon Center. I'm not too worried about the Pokemon themselves right now, so we're kind of good. If you try to surf on the water with Lapras, Surf can't be used here. However, Surf can be used, not here either. Yeah, unfortunately, the stupid Rock and Rock Smash, there's an item over here I want to grab, so unfortunately, certain areas prevent you from using Stinking Surf, so I have no choice to do so. Thankfully, though, Lapras can be used as an HM slave in case you need to. In fact, they can learn Rock Smash as well is actually pretty useful. I'm getting rid of Parasong because I'm not going to use this Lapras, and it's not exactly doing anything. Unironically enough, this Lapras is actually the lowest level Lapras you can encounter in this game. The highest level is ironically later in the game, but let's use Rock Smash to get rid of this Rocks with Lapras. Sadly, though, regardless of the fact that I could say is, oh, you can get an item, not so much. There's an item here. 1 star piece sells for a good amount of money. That's pretty much the only thing that's around here, and there's some things on the beach sometimes. Like any other beach, go and find them and get the beach completely cleared out. Sadly, though, the beach is a little bit finicky on what items spawn. I don't remember off the top of my head how the spawning rate works on this beach. And I think it's around, let me see, it's right there, an Ultra Ball. Really useful, especially when it's I need more Ultra Balls. There's also another one over here. I think there's an item over here. If you check the actual corners, I believe there's no way they would make an area like this and occurrence too fast. Yep. I'm trying to think that was, okay, really? They put an entire area there just for nothing there. Okay, really. Shop here, it's basically the same thing you've seen before. Nothing really changes all that much. This shop house here is actually interesting. Giggle, I could get a ton of stickers. I wish I could show them off. Oh, excellent, you come to the right place. Look, see? These are my stickers. Look how many I got. I bet you want some. I bet you do. I'll give you a sticker if you can tell me something awesome about yourself. What do you want to brag about? Well, there is one thing, the Hall of Fame. Oh, wow, you made it into the Hall of Fame. That's pretty good. Yep, I'll give you one of these. Hall of Fame stickers been applied to the trainer card. Each Engageur goes all the way up to 200. Yeah, I'm not kidding. You need to do this thing at least 200 to 400 times. It's one of the most exhausting things in this game, and I'll be blatantly honest with all of you. I would not recommend the 200 Hall of Fame entries. Believe me, it's exhausting and tedious. Another sticker that you can get is requires you to have an egg, which we have not gotten yet. You know, our rival said so we can't worry about that too much. I can show off the sticker at least. Let's go to the back to the trainer card because the sticker is right there. It's a little bit blurry because it's actually just a light green, red. Later levels have a better coloration, though yellow is pretty much incapable of being seen. Silver is the last one, level 4. And it's the same thing. You need also win link battles to get a higher ranking. I am not going to show any of that off because it's time-consuming and tedious. No lady here. Laura Isle has returned. Did she find the city life too stressful, I wonder? Laura Isle lives here. Go into this house next and see that there is somebody here. This guy is a replacement for a move tutor item that could be top for a Pokemon. Already, here we go. We're having a body slam match to see who wimps out first. If you want to join us, you'd like to squash like a bug. Though, how about I teach you buy some Pokemon universe instead? It's basically a replacement for the TM that used to exist in the original games. Body Slam is an incredibly useful physical attack, and it hits very hard. Normally, I would teach it, but honestly, I don't think I need to because I can get away with other moves. But besides that, though, I think Anarchy can learn it very easily and actually use it to advantage. Other Pokemon can learn Body Slam, but this is just one of them. I usually would like to have Water Pulse as a support move, but given the fact I already have a Water type that really is harder with Surf, I don't need Water Pulse that much. I am going to get rid of the TM, but it's not like I need to worry about this too much. Also, damage-wise, it's kind of bad, so yeah, I'm getting rid of Water Pulse and going straight back to Body Slam because its physical attack is much higher than its special. So there we go, and pretty good. Boing, boing. Alright, Body Slam is actually a very powerful 85 power move, and there's actually a girl holding on the house right here. Oh, you found me! Please don't tell Laura Isle! Did you know that Laura Isle has lots and lots of stuffed dolls? Every time she comes back to the Island 4 Island, her collection grows. This is Laura Isle's house. Something interesting about Laura Isle's house I need to talk about is the fact that she has dolls in here. Yes, that is indeed true. However, these dolls increase depending on how many times you go in the Elite Four. She has a new doll every 25 times. And after 200 victories, which is the same requirement as getting the stickers, you would have the extra 14 dolls, and it essentially just goes in that merry way. Yeah, pretty much. No extra dolls will be collected after that. I will be bluntly honest with all of you. I would not recommend going through the Elite Four for those 200 times because it's exhausting and tedious. Which, to be fair though, yeah, I don't like it all that much. So, besides that, there is nothing in Laura Isle's house besides that. There is a special doll like Lapras, but I'm not too concerned about Lapras. Now, I might as well now show off that we can finally do Surf on a calm water. Thank you, game, for waiting this long. Lapras used Surf. If this was the original games, it would be a Lapras that you'd be riding on, except in this game, they reused everything with the old sprite, so... yeah, it kind of sucks, honestly. I kind of wish they used Lapras instead, because Lapras has a unique sprite whenever you use Surf with Lapras. But besides that, not much. There's actually a back cave here. And we should go into it. Let's go in. To Icefall Cave, home to many new ice types that you can encounter in this cave. I'll be frankly honest, there is one Pokemon you can encounter while surfing. For Fire Red players only, this is a Pokemon known as Wooper. Wooper is a Water Ground type. Remember what I said there, Water Ground. This means it's immune to electric type attacks, and it can also take any electric hits very easily. It's also great at physical attacking. Besides that though, Wooper is decently slow though, so I wouldn't recommend it highly. If anyone who's played Coliseum or XD, I remember Wooper entirely. It's the fact that it's very, very, very slow, but it's also probably the best option you can get for a water type in any of the game itself. Especially at Coliseum with its limited options. But this is not a Coliseum playthrough, so I don't have to worry about talking about Wooper entirely for that. Besides that though, Wooper is, well, generally a very useful one, but I can't say it's the best. It's quad weak to grass, so it's very commonly to get knocked out very quickly, and it's going to be very bad. HP pool-wise, it's actually one of the best. Besides that, though, not much. The other Pokemon you can find in this room is for LeafGreen players only. That is Meryl. Meryl, until Generation 6, does not have the Fairy type, so it only has the Pure Water type. And its ability of huge power is probably one of the most ideal things you want to grab. Downside, Meryl's physical attacks are very poor and outclassed, so Azumarill won't be doing a lot. Yeah, it's one of the most unfortunate things about it, and I will be frankly honest, I would not recommend this Pokemon. Besides that, though, it also is just a bit painfully average. It's not very good speed-wise either, so I wouldn't recommend it as well. There's Pokemon also in the cave. If I can get into the cave, I'd be fine, but unfortunately, Golbat likes to make its existence meaningless. I hate this thing. Anyway, back to what I was talking about, because I got distracted by Golbat of all things. In the inner cave, this is actually what's known as the inner cave, at a 50% encounter rate, you can find a Pokemon known as Swinub. Sadly, Mamoswine does not exist in this game, so you cannot get Mamoswine, so do not bother worrying about Mamoswine at all. Honestly speaking, Swinub is actually a pretty decent Pokemon, but it's Ice and Ground type. Ice is weak to more types than any other type in the game, and it unfortunately has a unfortunate flaw of being painfully average until Mamoswine shows up in later games. I would not recommend it too much, and besides that, it would not exactly be a good choice if you really want a team member that's both Ice and Ground. It's not exactly a good option, especially given the damage output. It does gainer creep by level up, so it's actually an easy idea to get it, but besides that, though, not exactly recommending that Pokemon entirely, and to be honest, I really wouldn't. There is another Pokemon for LeafGreen exclusive players. This is Sneasel. Sneasel is an Ice Dark type. Normally, I would say not good type coverage, and I'd agree, it's not that good. Ice and Dark are not all special attacks, and Sneasel is a physical attacker of high speed. It does not also have Weavile in this generation, so you cannot get Weavile. Yep, that's not bad. That's not good at all either. So, unfortunately, I wouldn't recommend Sneasel's evolutionary tree, and it's not exactly a good idea because, for one thing, as fast as it normally is, it's not going to do much in the way of combat because all it does is just move around. Does different attacks. It really has only a physical attack and speed to go with it. So, yeah, I can't exactly recommend it in this generation. I'd recommend it in later generations, though. But don't worry though, Fire Red players, you're not going to be ignored. At a 5% encounter rate, the same as Sneasel, you get the all-exclusive Pokemon known as Delibird. If you can't tell by my tone, I will say outright I pity the Fire Red players now. Unlike the Growlithe situation. The Delibird itself is one of the most painfully average, boring, horrible, worst Pokemon in the entire series up to this point because it's such a generic, bad Pokemon. Another thing about this Delibird that's one of the most painful things about it is the fact that Delibird itself doesn't really learn many moves by level up. And by that I mean none. In fact, it doesn't learn level up moves except one move being Present. Present is a painfully average move that doesn't exactly do much, except it has a few different effects depending on what the move is. High percent chance you're going to get 40 power attack, decently lower chance to get an 80 power attack, very low percent chance, decently low percent chance you'll actually get a 120 power attack, which actually sounds useful in theory, but in practice, not exactly often. And guess what? At 20% chance, you will get the effect that Present will heal the opponent's Pokemon or target's Pokemon by 1/4 of their HP. I am not joking. It's one of the worst moves in the game, and I will be bluntly honest, I hate Present out of outright standards. So, besides that, though, I can't exactly recommend that Pokemon outright because it's so bad and painfully terrible. Alright, so back to what we're doing. We got a Never Melt Ice. We're doing Ice Physics now, which, painfully obvious. Later games usually use Ice Physics. Ironically enough, I think One's Gym and Emerald actually uses these way more frequently. Yeah, don't exactly like Ice Physics all that much. They prevent you from moving around really well. I think the main area that uses it the most, though, is probably has to be in later games. Such as Candace's Gym, which uses it to a great degree. Not much else to say about that. Full Restore. Getting to this ladder over here after going to that puzzle gets you the HM07 containing Waterfall. If it was later games, I'd recommend Waterfall, and if it was a later game, I could definitely recommend Waterfall on a physical water type. Sadly, though, there is no physical water types in this game that really helps, and frankly honest, I would never recommend it because of this. Time to get rid of my last move that, technically speaking, is a move that I don't care about. Haha! Lapras, you HM slave like a great beast. So, with our HM Waterfall in hand, we can actually go and explore the last bit of the cave. Thank goodness, because I need to explore the last bit of it. Besides that, though, we can go in this waterfall and actually go climb up. Waterfall was introduced in Ruby and Sapphire. That's how you got to the dang Elite Four in that game, and that's generally how you got there. Sadly, though, the move itself is kind of bad. At least it's nowhere near as bad as Dive, because Dive is just painful. It's just one of the painful, boring moves in the game, and I frankly would never recommend it outright because of that nonsense. Yeah, generally speaking, Dive is just bad in terms of damage, and it's not exactly a good move because it's a 2-turn water moves. Sadly, this is not like Dig in the original game where it basically does a, 2-turn Earthquake. That pretty much is the case. Now we're at the back of the Icefall cave, and there seems to be somebody here. Keep your filthy hands off the Pokemon in the cave. Do as I say, or you'll have me to answer to. Aw, shut it, lady, and leave us be. Don't let your glasses get all steamed up. Well, Nick, what are you doing here? No, we can catch up later. Right now, I need your help. Help me kick these poachers out before they do anything else. They've been catching Pokemon here, then sung them off. Are you ready? You take that one, then, please. Alright. What? Who says we can't do what we want with the Pokemon we catch? Well, I mean, she is the Elite Four, so you really can't say anything about that. So, yep, Team Rocket again. After the first time we saw them back near the dang Mount Ember, it's not exactly bad to see them again, but can't exactly say that's not a welcome surprise. So, yeah, kind of unfortunate. So, Zubat is now hanging down at least. It's actually very easy to take down. So, sadly speaking, a lot of the Team Rocket Grunts levels are so poor, I wouldn't say they're really much of a threat when it comes down to this area entirely. Besides that, though, I think we're level to 55, so it's actually useful for me, but besides that, though, not really much changes. I'll be bluntly honest with all of you, in case you're wondering about, oh, do I need to keep Lapras for the waterfall? No. Ironically enough, this is actually the only waterfall in the game that you actually use waterfall to actually utilize it. Later in the game and later in this area in Sevii Islands, you're going to need to use the move known as Cut later, but besides that, not really anything else. I'm bluntly serious. This is actually one of the saddest things in the world because of that. Rocket Crit's been defeated. We didn't plan on this! No! No way, I can't believe this! So despicably weak. You, tell me, where have you taken the captured Pokemon? I'm smashing your ring once and for all. No way! I'm not telling you that! If you won't confess, we'll deep freeze you. My Lapras is furious for what you've done to its friends. Go, Lapras, Ice Beam! Wah! Okay, I'll talk. The Pokemon are in the Rocket Warehouse in 5 Islands. There, I said it. We'll be going now. But I doubt you'll ever make it into the Rocket Warehouse. Hehehehe. Team Rocket's rockin'. Nick, thank you. This is awful. I was born and raised here on these islands. I had no idea those horrible criminals were loose here. That is very sad. And the fact that they were attacking your home is even worse. I might as well mention on a lighter note, a 1% encounter rate is actually found here, similar to Nidoran and dang LeafGreen and Fire Red. Pokemon known as Lapras can be found here at the high level of 45. That's why I say outright that this Lapras that you get from the dang Self-Go is actually pretty poor level. And to be blatantly speaking, it's not exactly a recommended idea if you really want to get a Lapras. It takes too long to actually get Lapras in this area, so I wouldn't recommend it, and painfully grinding up a water-ice type, especially in a game where water and ice combination, no matter what, is a terrible combo. Not really a good thing, but Lapras is a pretty good Pokemon, outright speaking, because it's dang tanky HP. Compared to dang Dugong, it's pretty much better than him entirely. We're done with Icefall Cave, so there's nothing else to do about here. We just don't need to find Team Rocket anymore. So instead, we're going to go to Route 5 in order to find them out, because we need to stop them. Such a nefarious evil plans. Yeah, entirely. Besides that, though, we're pretty much all done with the Icefall Cave, and there's nothing else to talk about in this cave. And she's not in her house, by the way, after you did deal with all that. Not. I was lying. Haha! There's something weighing heavily on my mind. If anything were to happen to the island where I was born, I wouldn't know what to do about it if I were in the Pokemon League. I wonder if that was making me responsible to my home. It does not. It's basically busy of life, busy of your job, and whatnot. Real life usually gets in people's way, but besides that, though, can't exactly say it's a bad thing. So, we're done with all that, and I think we're going to end this off right here. Next time on Pokemon LeafGreen, we'll be heading to 5 Island, leading us to try to find Team Rocket's warehouse, and trying to stop them to save the Pokemon. See you all next time!